That morning, the teachers' meeting room at Riverside High School was eerily quiet. The room, usually bustling with discussions, the clinking of coffee cups, and cheerful complaints, was now shrouded in a tense silence. In the center of it all stood Laura Bennett, her hands clutching a crumpled file. Laura was one of the school's most respected teachers. For over 12 years, she had been renowned for her dedication and rare patience. But for the past few months, many had noticed an unmistakable weariness in her eyes. Today, she had called an impromptu meeting, and everyone guessed something serious was about to be said. As the principals entered, Laura took a deep breath. "I apologize for taking up everyone's time," she began, her voice calm but slightly trembling. "But what I'm about to say is very important. I can't remain silent any longer." No one breathed. All eyes were on her. "We are letting our students fall behind." The words echoed through the room like metal falling to the floor. Laura opened the file, placing her class's reading comprehension tests on the table. They were covered in blank spaces, unanswered questions, and passages that were clearly misread or misunderstood. "I know teaching has never been easy," she continued, "but in recent months, I've realized my students aren't just struggling. They're losing their ability to concentrate, losing even basic reading skills. I've tried everything, from individual support to group activities, but I'm alone, and they need more than that." A teacher seated in the front row frowned slightly. "You mean, it's that serious?" Laura nodded. "It's not just in my class. I've looked at the records from previous years and spoken to several colleagues. This isn't a temporary problem. We're leaving an entire generation of students behind. They're studying because they have to, not because they understand, and that gap is growing." The vice principal tried to keep his tone calm. "We understand you're under pressure, but the school is always trying to—" Laura interrupted him, her voice firm for the first time. "No, we haven't tried hard enough. We're rushing to achieve results, rushing to meet targets. But we've forgotten the most basic thing. Students need to learn according to their own abilities." The room was filled with unease. Many teachers lowered their heads, because they understood Laura was right. They had seen the changes too, but no one had the courage to speak out. Laura took another deep breath and continued, her voice softer now. "I love this job. I love every child in my class. But for the past year, I've felt completely helpless. I don't want to be the one watching them get left behind without doing anything." With that, she placed her resignation letter on the table. The room froze. "Laura," a teacher exclaimed, almost in disbelief. "I'm not leaving out of anger." She smiled sadly. "I'm leaving out of hope. I hope my departure will make everyone look at this problem head on. Our students don't need a perfect school on paper. They need real companionship." She gathered her files, putting back the name tag she'd worn for over 10 years. No one said another word. Everyone was facing the truth that sometimes the bravest people are the ones who dare to say the harshest things. A week later, Laura's story had spread throughout the school. Students were talking, parents were calling to inquire, and the school administration was forced to hold a large meeting to reassess the entire curriculum. Teachers who had silently endured the situation were now speaking up. They proposed new methods, requested more time for individual student support, and asked for a reduction in unnecessary quotas. The changes didn't happen immediately, but from the departure of one person, the entire school began to transform. In her small apartment, Laura stood by the window, looking down at the trees changing color. Even though she was no longer teaching, she felt her love for her students had never faded, and deep down, she believed that sometimes, one voice at the right time could shake an entire system. She smiled, softly saying to herself, "Hopefully, they won't be left behind anymore." Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that matters. See you next time.